Hey, what's up everyone? I'm Jeremy Spencer from Five Finger Death Punch. I'll tell you what, I didn't write it to be unique. I actually did it because the day I got out of rehab, I was kind of raw, vulnerable, and needing to put my energy in a new place. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna write my life just for myself and kind of do it as a therapeutic exercise and maybe process and deal with some stuff that I never had addressed. So I started writing any time I had downtime, like I'd be on the bus or whatever. So I was compiling a lot of words. And I just kind of sent it to my dad for fun. And he was like, I actually think that you have a story here that might be of some benefit to some people, but if you release it in this format, in this fashion, you're probably going to be hated. So why don't you let me help you with some revisions? So he was cool enough to help me revise it. And then I sent it to management, and they were like, this is actually pretty good. So they shopped it, and I got a book deal. I was never trying to. And then I thought, okay, people are going to think, what's this dude's deal thinking he needs to release a book? What's he done? But if it can help one person, or if anyone can relate to this story and it can be of some benefit to them, then that far outweighs any of the criticism that I might get from it. So it's all good. Well, you know, hopefully it's something they can relate to. There are a lot of people out there that are struggling with addiction, and there are lots of people out there that are trying to make it in bands, you know? So I would imagine that there's going to be a story or two in there that you go, you know what, that's me, I can relate to that. So if it's helpful in any way, that's cool. That's what I want them to take away from it, if they can relate. Yeah, I would say that one moment where I'd had enough, I was in the Mandalay Bay partying, and I'd been up for 2 days straight. And I had a straw in one hand and a bottle of whiskey in the other. And finally my heart just said, enough, you know, that's enough. And I started, like, my heart was starting to skip beats, and I started convulsing, and I was like breaking out in cold sweats, and I was laying there thinking, you idiot, man, you've done it one too many times. And you know what really did it? I started thinking about my parents and how devastated they would be, and I just had this huge blanket of guilt and shame like come over me, and I was thinking, if you make it out of this, you need to make a change. So fortunately I did, and I woke up when I finally fell asleep and called the treatment center, checked myself in on my birthday. I've been clean and sober almost 3 years. Certainly the way I treated some people, I wasn't very kind. I'm the type of person where you add chemicals and I just change into a kind of a monster person. It's not pleasant, and I feel guilt about that. Some of the decisions I made, just the way I lived my life, it wasn't healthy, and it was kind of a negative attitude, and it was just dark. So I would, if I could change that, I would. But at the same time, I know that it's helped develop me into the person I am, and it also forced me to take a look at things that I may not have taken a look at had I not been messed up. So that's been a blessing in that way. Well, you definitely have to live your own life and choose your own path. And I'm not one to say, you need to stop and get it in order. You're going to have to make that choice for yourself. But, you know, you can always talk to someone, and I know until you're ready to stop, you're not going to. But a lot of the times they say you have to hit the wall in order to wake up and then decide to make the change. And for me, I hit the wall. Unfortunately, it wasn't hard enough to where it killed me. And I hope that that's the case for you out there too. You know, but there is help available. You know, at first it wasn't really hard. It was just different because I had such a routine out there on tour. So the first time being out on tour and not doing it, I was like, this is weird, but I was actually writing the book the first time. So it was a helpful outlet, and everyone's really supportive. They know my deal, and they would prefer me to be alive, I think, rather than dead. So, and we're fortunate enough to have like 3 buses. So I'm on the mellow bus, and I'm away from the debauchery. Yeah, you know, it was kind of like a garbage kind of sound, you know, like there was loops, and it was a female singer, and I did that for a little bit. I tried many different genres of music. Certainly, I never was really fulfilled until the Death Punch thing, because I always wanted to do double bass, and I'd been in bands that were like shredding metal bands as a kid, but none out in LA, because metal was kind of dead when I got there, and it was just hard to find people that had the same goals. It was pretty crazy, man. That was a time period where I'm like, what else are we piling on here? But you know, that was right around the time when I started, you know, partying again, and I was thinking, I'm so tired of everyone else being able to just let down their guard and party and clock out whenever they want to. Why? How come I don't get to do that? And I was in rehab years ago, but I've been clean 15 years. I can probably handle it now. I'm more mature. You know, I was a kid then, and here we go. I took a sip of wine, and it turned into 100,000, and then I went on the freight train downward real fast. Well, I just like to have fun, and sometimes there are situations that are pretty painful and tough to deal with, and I think it helps offset it. And I did it as a lot of times a defense mechanism, but at the end of the day, I love to laugh, and I like to make everyone else have a good time and just goof off, and that's what I've always done. Oh yeah, I mean, I get on their nerves acting stupid, but everyone's kind of lightened up now. We've kind of learned how to be around each other. It's tough, man. You're riding around in a tube together, and I challenge anyone to work a full day with your coworker and then get in a bus and drive across the planet instead of going home to your couch. It'll challenge anyone. Yeah, I work with Jason, I work with Zoltan, and I work with Ivan. So, one of those guys will have a riff, we'll get together and jam on it, or we'll just start something fresh. Ivan usually puts the lyrics on last, and he sometimes needs help with that, so I'm always in there helping him out and rooting him, cheering him on, and the guy's really good, man. He usually knocks it out of the park. Occasionally he'll need somebody to step in and help, and that's when we're there to lend a hand. But there's no real set way, except for we usually finish the music first. Yeah, we're working with him now, of course. We love him. He's another member of the band as far as we're concerned, and he's just a great guy, super talented, and we're happy that he's getting all the success that he's having. He's worked hard, and he deserves it. And his son, Kane, is doing really well, too. Yeah, it wasn't always easy. I mean, when I first got to California, moving there from Indiana, that was culture shock. It was definitely a change, and there were some tough times, man. I was living in a closet in somebody's garage. I mean, it wasn't glamorous by any stretch of the imagination. I was working paycheck to paycheck for years and struggling and, getting real close with bands, and then it just gets yanked out from underneath you at the last second. It was heartbreak after heartbreak, and then finally I answer this ad on musicconnection.com, and it's Zoltan's ad looking for a drummer, and Death Punch started. People, they go, you guys have blew up overnight, but they don't get the 15, 20 years before and all the other bands that we didn't get there, so it didn't feel like overnight. Well, we were just happy that we could bring any kind of awareness to the subject, because PTSD is a big problem. Homeless vets, there are a lot of them, man, and there are a lot of organizations out there that could use your help. So we started this campaign, 5FTP for Vets, where you could donate some money and help out the cause and bring awareness to the subject. And our goal was to raise $50,000. We've already raised $200,000, and there's still almost a month left of the campaign. So thank you, everyone. And there's still time to donate. So hit up 5ftpforvets.com. We're in the studio now. We've recorded 4 songs. We're going to try to get back in the studio after this tour with Volbeat and finish it up in winter sometime, and then try to get it out late spring, early summer. There's no date, but that's our goal. It's subject to change, of course. It's not done until it's done, but we're off to a great start. Well, certainly I know there are a lot of people out there that have similar struggles as I do, that are struggling with addiction, and there's help available. You can always reach out to someone. I'm hoping you find a story in my book, Death Punch, that you can relate to that might help you. And I want to thank all the Death Punch fans in general, man. You guys have been there since the beginning, and we look forward to seeing you on tour with Volbeat this year.